So today, we're going to be talking about a new supernova forming that's got astronomers looking up into the sky and waiting for when this supernova will occur. In the Sky Report, we're going to be talking about the new moon as well as the annular solar eclipse that is happening in Southern Argentina and Southern Chile. And finally, we're going to be talking about a temporary moon that the Earth is going to have for the next 2 months that will be in orbit. All of that and more will be discussed. This is Interstellar Insights. Alright guys, so starting off, we're going to be talking about something that's got astronomers looking up into the sky. We're going to be talking about this new supernova that's about to form. So this really is a once in a lifetime event. I know this will be recorded. It'll be like the Taurus supernova. I believe that was like in the 12th century, like 1132. I'm going to say that was recorded in China. So yeah, this is like a once in a lifetime thing, kind of like that Christmas star that won't come back for the next 700 years. But anyways, this supernova is expected to occur in the Corona Borealis constellation, because there is a long dead star that is about to get reignited into a supernova. This star is a white dwarf named T Corona Borealis. Very creative name. And right now it's currently feasting on a red giant star for energy. So it's kind of being a leech on this red giant star. And then, eventually once all of its hunger is satiated and gains more mass, eventually it'll explode into a supernova. And, it's only a matter of time at this point when that'll happen over the next few months, maybe even a year. It's got astronomers keeping their eyes up in the sky. NASA is even involved. They have the Fermi Gamma Ray Space Telescope eyed on T Corona Borealis, and then also, of course, we got the James Webb Telescope, SWIFT, and then the ground-based very large array, very large array based in New Mexico. So everyone is looking up. We're all kind of waiting for when this moment will occur. It's looking like it's going to be in the next few months when the white dwarf reaches that critical mass point to where it'll explode. So, and speaking about that explosion, right now, astronomers predict that for the first couple of days, it'll be visible to the naked eye in the sky. So we'll all be able to see it. It'll be very obvious. And then after a few days, it's just a matter of light from telescopes. And then a few months later, we're just looking from the supernova through UV rays, ultraviolet X-rays, stuff like that are emitted from the supernova before the supernova cools down, and we just have a nebula. That is where the remains of the where T Corona Borealis once stood, because right now it's like on its last leg as a white dwarf, and eventually once it reaches that critical mass point, it's going to be a big explosion. If you think this is going to be like a gamma ray burst, no, it is not. The only thing you'll be able to tell that it has occurred is if you just look up in the night sky. Of course, there's no way for sound to travel, so it's not like there's going to be some big boom in the middle of the day or something like that. So yeah, it's nothing. It's nothing for all the conspiracy theory people that are like, oh, the world's going to end. Ooh. It's nothing like when no one's going to die because of this supernova. Put it that way. Like no one is going to. It'll be visible. It'll be really cool, astronomical phenomena to go outside during the night and be like, oh, that there was a white dwarf there, and now it's gone and exploded, and there's going to be a nebula there a couple months after it cools down. So yeah, well, that's all I've got. Of course, when this epic event happens, I'm probably going to cover it, follow up. Who knows? Maybe I'll take a couple pictures, do some astrophotography, something like that, get that posted. But yeah, that is all I have got for this new supernova forming. Let's go move on to this week's Sky Report. Alright guys, so welcome to this week's edition of the Sky Report, and boy, the past few weeks it's not been really much to look up in the night sky for, but like this week, these 3 days, oh my god, we are packed with some stuff. I mean, arguably the most important day is Wednesday, but I mean, there's still some pretty good stuff that's happening throughout the week. So yeah, let's get to it because we got a lot to dive into here. So 2nd of October, which is this Wednesday today, this episode gets posted noon exactly. So actually, about 3 hours later at 2:49 p.m. is when the new moon occurs. That's the phase of the moon. I guess I already told you that. Oh, and also, I keep forgetting to say this in the beginning, but these times are all in Eastern Daylight Time. If you do not live on the East Coast, go figure it out yourself. Not my problem. Not my problem when a bunch of people in California think of Eastern Daylight Time, but yeah, okay, whatever. You got me digressing off on a tangent. But new moon is occurring at 2:49 p.m., and the moon is going to reach apogee, which is the farthest point from moon. No. The farthest point from the moon. I don't know why I said it, like slurred it and slipped. At 3:30 p.m. And the at that point, the moon will be 252,297 miles away from Earth, which is its farthest point away from Earth. And then, yeah, that's a new moon. But if you happen to live somewhere in southern Chile, Argentina, really, I guess it's just Patagonia, we'll call it. There is an annular solar eclipse, which is a solar eclipse that occurs every year because for some reason it's always there in that region. But that solar eclipse is going to be pretty long. It's going to last 7 minutes and 25 seconds. But if you're not living in the deep south of South America and Patagonia and Chile and Argentina, there's actually going to be a partial solar eclipse over the kind of a little bit northern in the southerly parts of South America, not exactly like the deeps, not like Patagonia, not like where Tierra del Fuego is and stuff, but there's also going to be, that also is going to happen over regions of the Pacific. So if you live in Hawaii, yes, there is going to be a partial solar eclipse. So, I mean, I guess that's something for you guys. But yeah, that is October 2nd. Very, very packed day in terms of astronomical events, of course, happening today. And then moving on to the 3rd of October, aka tomorrow, Thursday. Titan will be visible throughout the evening and into the morning. So that'll be shining at magnitude of 8 on the brightness scale, and it will be less than 1 arc minute from Saturn. And then, of course, you're like, well, where's Saturn then? Well, Saturn is actually going to be 20.5 degrees high in the southeast. And if you're staying up all night watching, the change to night and then back into day and at daybreak, Saturn is actually going to make like a southerly arc across the horizon throughout the sky. And Saturn can be found in Aquarius, shining at a magnitude of 0.6. And then if you are using a telescope to look at what's going on in the night sky, Saturn's disks actually span, I'm getting the planet mixed up with the rings. Saturn itself, the proper planet, not the rings, the disk of Saturn in the night sky is going to span 19 arc minutes across, while its rings are going to span about 43 arc minutes across at its widest moment in the night sky. So, yeah, very nice. Let's go out and see Saturn. And yeah, that is first. We got Titan and Saturn. There's going to be some other moons, but those two are the, hottest topic of the day, talk of the night or whatever. But anyways, moving on to this Friday, October the 4th. Mars is going to be shining at a magnitude of 0.4, and it will be in Gemini in the sky. And since it's, even though it's like rising up late at night, it'll actually be at its highest in the early morning of Saturday, which is very strange. But anyways, if you're looking for Mars, it's going to be located between Castor and Pollux in Gemini in the night sky. Of course, it's going to be very dim. So that'll be something to crack out the binoculars or telescope for. But anyways, that's that. Let's go into actual times and moon phases. So tonight, sunset's going to be at 6:40 p.m. Moonrise is going to be at 6:47 a.m. The moonset's going to be at 6:37 p.m. And then for tomorrow, the 3rd, sunrise is going to be at 6:59 a.m. Sunset's going to be at 6:38 p.m. Moonrise is going to be at 7:46 a.m. And the moonset is going to be at 6:57 p.m. For Friday, the 4th, October 4th, sunrise is 7 o'clock in the morning. Sunset's going to be at 6:36 p.m. At night. Moonrise is going to be at 8:47 a.m. and moonset is going to be at 7:19 p.m. So phase for today, Wednesday, it's obviously going to be a new moon. And then on Thursday and Friday, we're going to transition into a waxing crescent in the night sky. As you know, moon phases are changing. But yeah, so yeah, first sky report of October looks pretty good. We got a lot of stuff, the night sky, very cool stuff. So this is probably one of the better weeks to go out, as there are going to be some cool stuff. But with that being said, let's go move on to our second story of this episode. Alright guys, so we're going to talk about the moon. And no, I'm not talking about the moon. I'm talking about a mini moon that is going to basically orbit Earth for the next 2 months. So this started actually September 29th is when this it's an asteroid. This asteroid entered Earth's orbit, although it's not really on orbit, but I'll get into that later. So this object called 2024 PT5 is an asteroid, and it spans about 33 feet across. And just to quell anyone's fears, no, this asteroid is not going to, drive us to extinction, not like the dinosaurs. It's in fact, it's not even really in orbit of Earth, because it's taking this weird like horseshoe orbit around Earth. I don't know, that's kind of the best way to describe it. It's not really in orbit, but yes, it definitely and will not, collide with Earth in some collision that drives up everything on Earth to near extinction. But yeah, so that is how this object is going to be orbiting Earth for 2 months until I believe it's in November, like November 20 something like that, because it's going to be around for quite a while in the night sky. So, and then for those that think this is really unique and cool, this is actually not the first time that we've had these like asteroids or small celestial objects that have kind of come under the influence of Earth's gravity for like a month or two. In fact, I believe in 2006, there was an object dubbed 2006 RH20. Very creative naming. And did I say that? Yeah, the full name of the object that's occurring right now is actually 2024 PT5. So yeah, the naming of these objects are on very par of each other, so you can obviously tell. But anyways, getting sidetracked with naming. Let's head back to 2006. An object in 2006 RH20, and that orbited Earth for 1 year actually, which is I think pretty impressive. We had 2 moons for a year if you think about it. Excuse me. From July 2006 to July 2007 is when 2006 RH20 orbited Earth. And then there was a second object that has actually orbited Earth, 2020 CD3, which actually we don't really have a date for when it started, but the reason the way it got its name is because in May 2020, that's when this object fell out of Earth's orbit and Earth couldn't exert its gravitational force field on this object. So yeah, and then for most of these objects, kind of more of from a more astronomical perspective, most of these come from the origin belt of the asteroid belt. So there are different parts that make up the asteroid belt. This is just one of them, but the origin belt consists of objects that are more closer to the sun, if you will. So that is why these objects are, coming in. They're falling under the influence of Earth. They're completely harmless to Earth, and of course as well to us. They're just really cool. So for 2 months, we can technically say that Earth has 2 moons, if you think about it. But then again, this object isn't really orbiting like the moon and other things. It's just going in a horseshoe shape, if you will, like a horseshoe orbit pattern around the Earth. But yeah, that is all that I have on talking about this temporary moon, second moon of Earth, if you will. So yeah, let's go move on to this week's edition of Astronomy Trivia. Alright guys, so welcome to this week's edition of Astronomy Trivia. So yeah, typical, I say a question, you answer, blah blah blah. I don't even know why I'm reading the rules. But let's talk about last week's question before getting to this week's question. I believe the question that I asked last week was, what is the brightest star in the night sky? And I'm kind of surprised by the answers, because it seems like people thought the obvious, the closer stars would be the brightest. In this case, everyone voted for Alpha Centauri, I believe. But that's actually not the case. Alpha Centauri is the third brightest star in the night sky, but that is not the brightest night star. The brightest star, words are hard. The brightest night star in the night sky is Sirius. So, of course, we know I put that image up. It's pretty bright, but Sirius is actually, and while doing research for this is actually cool. It's actually a binary star system consisting of 2 stars, Sirius A and Sirius B, and together they measure 24.7 on the solar luminosity scale, and they are both approximately 8.6 light years away from us. So once again, light years, that's the amount of time it takes for light to travel between 2 places. So it takes 8-ish years for light to travel from there to here on Earth. But none of the less, let's go and talk about this week's question. So I'm going to read it. Between the Spirit and Opportunity rover missions and the Curiosity rover, what was the last Mars lander space probe to land on Mars? So I'm going to read that again. Between Spirit and Opportunity and the Curiosity rover, what was the last Mars lander space probe? I paused there weirdly. What was the last Mars lander space probe to land on Mars? And to clarify, I'm talking about the period of time between when Curiosity was launched and landed on Mars and between the time that Spirit and Opportunity launched and landed. During that period of time from like 2004 to like 2012, which is like 8 years. What Mars lander did NASA send between that time? That was like the last one before they decided to go full on with rovers, with obviously first Curiosity and then most recently Perseverance. I believe that was 2020, 2021. I don't know the exact date, but yeah, that is the question. So I'll give you some time to think about that. I will post a poll out on YouTube and Spotify with the answer to this question, so you guys can answer there. And of course, the potential questions, because this is more of a multiple choice. I probably should specify that this is more multiple choice. It's not open ended, so yeah, you'll have some options. But anyways, let's close out this podcast episode. All right, guys. So yeah, that wraps up this week's episode of Interstellar Insights. Next week, regular song and dance, nothing new, nothing special. Although, if you guys know about the bonus edition stuff where I just interview random people in my life, that's really more off topic than compared to the main podcast. I will try and get some interviews in there, just random people and stuff. So yeah, hopefully we can do that soon. But yeah, if you like this episode of Interstellar Insights, please like and subscribe and share. It really means a lot. Especially that'll allow the podcast to grow, and it'll allow me to increase the quality. We can have new segments, things like that, new topics. But yeah, that's all I've got. This is Michael signing off.